What I'm going to show you guys next is a posterior capsule mobilization for your hip. A lot of times we do a lot of hip mobility drills. They stretch different muscles in the hip. They stretch the hamstrings, they stretch the hip flexors, the adductors, the piriformis. This one specifically, we're trying to get a really deep stretch in the back of the hip. To do this, we're going to just be in what we say quadruped position. I'm on a yoga mat. You can go on the floor, anywhere you want. I'm going to first demonstrate it for my left hip. To start off, what we're going to do is you're going to take your left ankle and you're going to place it on top of your right. What this is going to do, it's going to put our hip in a little bit of an externally rotated position, which technically should free up a little bit of space in the front. Especially if you get a little bit of hip pinching, we want to avoid any of that in the front. The stretch and the mobilization should just be felt in the back. And again, it should feel like a really deep stretch once we get into this position. So when we're here, I'm going to sink back, and I'm not going to go straight back. I'm going to go back and at an angle towards my left hip. So I'm going to be going this way rather than going straight back. And I'm going to use my arms, and my weight's just going to sink into my hip. And right about here, I start getting this intense little stretch back in the butt. Okay? Now, you got to be able to relax. When you first get in here, the first couple seconds, you might be holding on. Your muscles might be holding on because it's getting into a different and a new range. Once you feel it finally relax, which I am now relaxed in the stretch, then I can sink in a little bit more. And again, I'm going out to the side. And you can play with different vectors. I'm showing you out to the side, but you can go a little bit more down. You can go a little bit more out, and you'll feel different parts of your hip mobilize. Okay? This is the first little position. You can also play around with what direction your foot's going. You can not cross it as much and go straight back this way. Now know that the further and further away you get from crossing, the higher chance it is if you're feeling it in the front of your hip, which we want to avoid. So right here for me, I'm starting to feel it in my front, so that's a little bit too much. So I'm going to go a little bit more out, a little bit angled, and now I feel it in the back. So again, the most important thing you want to avoid is any sort of pinching sensations in the front. If you do get the pinching, make sure you rotate your hip a little bit more out to the side, putting this leg in external rotation, or play around with the different vectors that you're going back in. So it's just an intense stretch in the back of the butt. And again, you can do this on both sides. You can hold it as long as you need. It's really about how you feel. Once you feel yourself relaxed and you feel like your hips are loose, good, you're ready to go.